let's talk about the best products for low porosity. If you don't know whether you're high or low porosity, check out my previous video on hair types and then come back to this one. When you have low porosity, your hair cuticles are pretty much tightly closed, which makes it harder for moisture to penetrate in. So we're looking for products that can easily penetrate the hair cuticle, or for ways to open up the hair cuticle so that you can properly absorb the moisture. So let's start with your wash day routine. For low porosity, pre-poo is optional, but if you have coily or curly hair, it's an amazing step to help with detangling your hair before you shampoo. Aloe vera is good. Miss African Pride pre-poo is amazing. I wouldn't say coconut oil though. That's more so if you have high porosity and you want to avoid breakage or hydro fatigue. So aloe vera juice is amazing. I have a recipe on my page, you could check that out. And Miss African Pride pre-poo. Now for shampoos, you could do a moisturizing shampoo or a clarifying shampoo. Now you want to make sure you get a really good clarifying shampoo because that's kind of like a staple in your whole routine, especially when you have low porosity, because of how easily you could get product buildup, because again of how tightly closed your cuticles are. The product would just sit on top of your head. So you need like a really good clarifying shampoo that's gonna like leave your hair squeaky clean. Here are some really good clarifying shampoos. Here's also a good list of a few moisturizing shampoos that you could use frequently. And yeah, now for deep conditioners, you want something that's gonna provide you with the moisture that your hair needs, because the #1 priority for low porosity is moisture. Now the key to really let that moisture in is to apply your deep conditioner with some heat. I know the girlies use heating caps or the heat from the shower, steamers as well. But yeah, these are some really good deep conditioners for low porosity that are really gonna provide you with the moisture that you need. Now for moisturizers. When you have low porosity, you could do the LCO method or the LO method. And the LO method basically helps to avoid too much product buildup. So for example, you could do like a lightweight leave-in and a lightweight oil. So let me give like 2 examples, because the L in LCO stands for liquid or leave-in. So when doing the LCO method, you just basically want to opt for liquids and not creamier leave-ins to avoid any type of product buildup. You could do a liquid such as water or a hair tea, and then a light cream and seal it with some oil. If you're doing the LO method, you would do a light cream / leave-in and then seal it with the light oil. And that's gonna help with not weighing your hair down. So you could choose between doing the LCO method or the LO method, whichever one works for you. But again, if you're doing the LCO method, opt for liquid leave-in, not cream, because then the C and the O is just gonna cause too much product buildup. Here's a list of some really good leave-ins for low porosity. When it comes to creams and leave-ins, you want something that's lightweight, that's gonna easily penetrate your hair. So these are some really good options. Now, oils for low porosity. Here are some amazing oils for low porosity if you are doing a protective style. Jojoba oil, almond oil. These are all light oils that are not gonna weigh your hair down. And yeah, now for stylers, these are really good for low porosity because again, they're lightweight, they're not too thick, and they're not gonna weigh your hair down. And mousses are also really good. Mousses are amazing for low porosity. These are some really good mousses. And please, if you have low porosity and there's a product that you really love, leave it in the comments. Now, protein treatments. Protein treatments are not a priority for low porosity because your cuticles are tightly closed. You don't have any gaps that you need to fill in, unlike high porosity. So your main priority is to really just keep your hair moisturized. But there are some protein treatments that are made for low porosity, just in case you need like a little bounce back from like a heat style or something like that. These are some really good options. They're light protein treatments and contain hydrolyzed protein, which is protein broken down into smaller components that are small enough to penetrate the super tight cuticle of a low porosity. So these are like some really good options if you want to like bounce back from like a heat style or just like strengthen your hair from a minor setback. But again, your priority is to keep your hair moisturized. Now let's get into specific advices based on your hair density and thickness. So if you don't know your hair density or thickness, watch my previous video on hair types and then come back to this one again. So if you have dense and thick hair, on your wash days, you want to make sure you're sectioning your hair, you're keeping your hair moisturized. I definitely recommend the LCO method rather than the LO method just because of how thick your hair is. And to also use steam when applying your products so that the products can like really penetrate the hair shaft. If you have low density and fine hair, You definitely want to make sure you're including those light protein treatments just to give like your hair a nice backbone. Depending on the products you're using, they're going to mention how often you should use them. And because it's light, you don't have to be afraid of things such as like protein overload. Because your scalp is more exposed, it can dry out faster. So you want to make sure you're definitely using hair active oils such as peppermint oil, rosemary oil, tea tree, all that good stuff. Make you a nice little blend. So like after your wash day, or like when you're applying like your leave-ins and stuff, you're just like rubbing that on your scalp to keep your scalp hydrated for a longer period of time. And these are hair active oils, so they're going to activate your blood cells and generate more flow throughout the scalp that's going to support with more hair growth. So there's definitely more benefits to it than just moisturizing your scalp. And lastly, when applying your hair products, you don't need to apply that much. A little goes a long way, because too much product can actually cause hair loss when you have low density and fine hair. And also avoid tension. If you have high density and fine hair, avoid tension. If that braider is braiding too tight, you need to speak up, okay? We're not trying to get no bald spots. Keeping your hair stretched is a good way to retain length. Light protein treatments are also really good for you. And if you have coily hair, avoid wash and goes. And yeah, last but not least, low density and thick hair. Scalp massages are really good. Hair active oils. You also want to avoid tension and keep your hair moisturized. But yeah, that's about it. If you have more questions, add them in the comments. I promise I'll get to them. And yeah, that's about it.